15. Strange and forbidden things in Namibia. Number 15. Women are forbidden to bathe with water. Women are forbidden to bathe with water for their entire lives. It sounds strange, but it's true for the Himba tribe living in Namibia's harsh Kunene region, where annual rainfall averages only about 180-200 millimeters, even less than the Sahara Desert. Here, water is considered the soul of life, used only for drinking and cooking. Anyone who dares to bathe with it is seen as disrespecting their ancestors and polluting the earth and sky. That's why bathing with water is completely banned for life. So how do Himba women keep themselves clean? They have a unique ritual called smoke bathing, found nowhere else on Earth. Every day they burn the camophora plant, a native type of incense, then cover themselves with a blanket and sit amid the thick smoke until their bodies sweat, deodorizing and cleansing the skin. Afterward, they apply a mixture called ochize, made from butterfat and red ochre, all over their bodies and hair. This layer of ochize isn't just a replacement for water. It serves as sunscreen, insect repellent, perfume, and a symbol of cultural identity. That red color represents blood and Mother Earth, the two forces that sustain life. For the Himba, red skin is the ultimate symbol of beauty, and applying ochize each morning is seen as a daily prayer. Even today, despite the modern world's hot showers, soaps, and perfumes, over 50,000 Himba people have never bathed with water. The Namibian government considers them a living heritage, banning all commercial tourism projects that could alter this ancient culture. Number 14. The festival where you can choose your life partner. Amid Namibia's scorching desert, drums echo each year to announce the season of love and liquor. The Oshituthi Shomagongo Festival. It's a celebration among the Ovambo people, honoring the ripening of marula fruits and a chance to find a soulmate. Held every March to April, when thousands of golden marulas blanket the ground, village women begin brewing marula wine using age-old recipes. They ferment the fruits in clay pots, and within a few days, a strong, spicy drink emerges, often called Africa's love wine. Unlike most traditional ceremonies, Oshituthi Shomagongo is a multi-day celebration where music, dancing, and alcohol flow freely. But what surprises Western visitors most is that here, women have the right to choose the man they want. When a woman offers a man a cup of marula wine, it's considered the most direct confession of love in the world. If the man drinks it all, it means he accepts. Many say that with just one sip, they found a wife, or at least a lifelong partner. According to local statistics, at least 3 out of every 10 Ovambo couples first met at this festival. Many foreign visitors have even returned to Namibia, hoping to find the girl with the marula cup again. In 2015, UNESCO recognized the festival as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, not just for its drinking traditions, but for preserving the spirit of freedom, love, and gender equality that is rare in traditional African culture. For Western tourists, it's often called the African version of Tinder, except here, instead of swiping right, you just have to finish your drink. What do you think of this festival? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 13. Where the ocean and desert collide, forbidden to visitors. In a place where life seems impossible, the Atlantic Ocean and the Namib Desert crash into each other, creating one of the most surreal and deadly landscapes on Earth. It's called the Skeleton Coast, where Africa's driest desert meets the world's coldest ocean, forming a ghostly boundary that feels like another planet. But this beauty is cursed. The Skeleton Coast isn't just a beach. It's the largest ship graveyard in the world. Since the 15th century, thousands of ships have been swallowed by thick fog and the icy Benguela Current. More than 1,000 rusted wrecks still lie scattered along the coast, half buried in sand, where waves whisper like the voices of sailors who never made it home. Survival rates from shipwrecks here were nearly zero. With a deadly desert to the east and a freezing ocean to the west, there was simply no escape. Today, the Skeleton Coast is off limits to casual visitors. Only specially permitted expeditions are allowed to set foot there. The landscape is filled with wrecked ships, ruined houses, and traces of treasure hunters who vanished without a trace. Beneath the fog, you might spot the paw prints of desert lions, jackals, or hyenas prowling around broken hulls. Though warned as a land not meant for humans, the Skeleton Coast continues to lure adventurers. Because between sand and sea, between life and death, one question still remains. Perhaps the real treasure here isn't buried in the sand, but found in the courage to step into one of the most forbidden places on Earth. Number 12. Namibian women dress like European aristocrats. Anyone who's ever visited Namibia can't help but be captivated by the women here, strong, confident, and incredibly stylish. In big cities like Windhoek, Namibian women can be seen wearing modern dresses, charming crop tops, or bright African-patterned outfits. But if you think Namibian fashion ends there, think again. Get ready to be surprised, because nowhere else on Earth do women dress like members of British royalty from the 19th century, right in the middle of the desert. In some regions of Namibia, a quick glance might make you believe you've stepped into a 19th century European ball. But no, this is the traditional attire of the Herero women. Herero women wear massive, floor-length gowns with layers upon layers of heavy fabric, almost identical to the Victorian-era dresses once worn by European ladies. What makes it even more striking is their unique headpiece shaped like cow horns, symbolizing the Herero people and their deep spiritual connection with cattle. It might seem illogical, right? In a country full of deserts and scorching heat, these gowns are like moving blankets. Yet for Herero women, the more extravagant, the hotter, the heavier, the better. The funniest part is that this outfit actually came from their former oppressors, the Germans. When Namibia was a German colony in the late 19th century, the Herero were forced to dress in European style. But instead of just obeying, they took it up a notch. Longer, puffier, more colorful, and crowned with that iconic horned hat. Number 11. The fairy circles of Namibia. Have you ever imagined a desert that paints its own artwork? In Namibia's dry red Namib Desert, millions of mysterious bald circles appear, stretching endlessly toward the horizon. Each circle ranges from about 6 to 100 feet wide and is arranged so precisely that NASA can see them from space. Locals call them fairy circles, while scientists describe them as one of the greatest biological mysteries on Earth. For decades, researchers have debated whether they were created by sand termites or by plants organizing themselves to survive. In 2017, a team from Purdue University traveled deep into the Namib Desert, analyzing every grain of soil and root, and what they discovered shocked everyone. Inside each circle, water penetrated deeper, and the roots were thicker, as if the grass had made a secret agreement to share what little water existed. In other words, the desert has learned to regulate itself, creating a perfect system of survival without human help. Number 10. Citizen elephants of Namibia. In Namibia, there was once a government employee so special that no one dared to fire him. A desert elephant named Voortrekker, affectionately known as the honorary citizen of Damaraland. The Namibian government, along with conservation groups like Save the Rhino Trust and Desert Elephant Conservation Project, officially registered Voortrekker in the national database, complete with an ID number, personal file, and a GPS collar worth over $3,000. The goal sounds odd but meaningful: to turn wild elephants into public servants, tracked, protected, and indirectly paid through local communities who help look after them. Voortrekker was no ordinary elephant. He was the leader of the desert herd, known for guiding his group more than 125 miles across Kunene and the Skeleton Coast, where temperatures can reach 113 degrees Celsius and water is nearly non-existent. When Voortrekker was shot dead in 2019, Damaraland was outraged. Hundreds of locals signed petitions to the government calling it the death of a devoted citizen. Facing public pressure, the government established the Desert Elephant Protection Fund with an annual budget of over 1 million Namibian dollars, essentially a retirement fund for the remaining herds. It may sound unbelievable, but the United Nations has recognized this as one of Africa's most innovative wildlife conservation models. Unlike Kenya or Botswana, still struggling with poaching crises, Namibia chose a different path, treating its elephants not just as wildlife, but as citizens of the desert. Number 9. Don't drive at night. Namibia has the second lowest population density in the world, only about 3 people per square kilometer, and most of its roads are gravel or crushed stone, stretching for hundreds of miles with no streetlights. When night falls, everything disappears. No road signs, no gas stations, just darkness and the sound of wind sweeping across the desert. It may sound romantic, but it's actually a deadly trap. Oryx, antelopes, zebras, and free-roaming cattle often dart across the road without warning. Many tourists think, "It's fine if I just drive slowly," until they realize the brakes don't work properly on dry gravel, and the car starts sliding as if it's on ice. These accidents are so common that local police jokingly call them the desert shock. The Namibian government has issued a clear warning. If you must drive at night, never exceed a speed at which you can stop safely within the range of your headlights, usually under 60 km/h, about 30 mph. Speeding in Namibia doesn't just bring heavy fines, your vehicle can be impounded on the spot. So if you've ever dreamed of a starry road trip across the Namib desert, remember this. Daytime is for exploring, nighttime is for surviving. Number 8. The first African country with a constitution protecting the environment. Few people know that amid Africa's dry and rugged landscapes, there's a small nation that achieved something even many developed countries haven't dared to do. It wrote environmental protection directly into its constitution. That nation is Namibia, the first in Africa and one of the few in the world to do so. Article 95 of Namibia's 1990 Constitution clearly states, "The state shall actively promote and maintain the welfare of the people by adopting policies aimed at maintaining ecosystems, essential ecological processes, and biological diversity of Namibia, and by utilizing natural resources on a sustainable basis for the benefit of all Namibians, both present and future." Thanks to this revolutionary principle, Namibia granted conservation power not just to the government, but to its people. Over 86 community-based conservancies have been established, covering nearly 20% of the country's land area, equivalent to the entire size of the United Kingdom. Locals don't just live alongside wildlife, they protect it, earning income through ecotourism and regulated hunting programs. The results are remarkable. Namibia now has the largest free-roaming black rhino population in the world, over 25,000 wild elephants that migrate freely, and rising numbers of lions, cheetahs, and antelopes. While other countries struggle against poaching, Namibia proves a powerful truth. When people are empowered, nature can heal itself. Number 7. The village that lives on fog. In one of the driest places on Earth, where annual rainfall averages less than 20 millimeters, there's a village that survives entirely on fog. It's called Walvis Bay, a coastal town in western Namibia that experiences a rare natural phenomenon, 180 to 200 foggy days each year. Here, fog isn't just scenery, it's life itself. Locals even call it the gift of the ocean. When the icy Benguela current from Antarctica collides with the hot winds from the Namib desert, moisture condenses into what locals describe as ground clouds that drift slowly through town. The amount of moisture may seem tiny, just 1 to 3 milliliters of water per cubic meter of air. But for people here, it's the difference between life and death. Plants don't need deep roots to draw water. Instead, they absorb humidity directly through their leaves. Many residents even set up fog nets, simple yet ingenious devices that can collect 20 to 30 liters, 8 gallons of water per day. It may not sound like much, but in a country nearly 1.3 times larger than France, with only 2% of its land suitable for farming, every drop of fog water is more precious than diamonds. Mornings here are surreal. Step outside, and instead of London's soft mist, you'll face a thick white sea of fog so dense it hides the sun. Yet within that fog, vegetables grow, livestock survive, and people endure. In Chile, a similar phenomenon is known as camanchaca. And in Peru, fog collectors in the Atacama Desert are now adopting technology first pioneered in Namibia. Number 6. The Himba tradition of wife lending. The Himba tribe in northern Namibia isn't just famous for their taboo against bathing with water. They also shocked the world with another unusual custom: women being loaned to other men for the night. This practice, known as okujepisa omakazendu, is considered one of the highest forms of hospitality among the Himba people. According to tradition, when a male guest visits, the host may offer his wife to the visitor as a sign of respect and complete trust. The guest is allowed to sleep in the hut with the wife, while the husband sleeps outside. If the guest refuses, it's seen as an insult and a loss of honor for the host family. At first glance, it might sound like an act of sexual exchange, but to the Himba, it's a social ritual rather than a physical one. Many wives view it as a gesture of pride, proof that their husbands are so respected and secure that they can share what's most precious to them. Some Himba women have even said in local media, "If my husband allows it, I feel proud." It means trust, not betrayal. Anthropologists believe this custom helps maintain peace in small communities by reducing jealousy and strengthening bonds between families. However, modern Himba youth, especially those exposed to the outside world, are increasingly questioning its value, calling it a remnant of an ancient social order. Number 5. The ghost town buried in sand. There's a town in Namibia half buried in sand and half in memory, Kolmanskop, the ghost town of Namibia. Over a century ago, Kolmanskop was the beating heart of Africa's diamond boom. In 1908, a Namibian railway worker accidentally discovered the first diamond. Within months, thousands of Germans flocked to the area. In less than 10 years, a lavish European-style town rose in the middle of the desert, complete with casinos, theaters, schools, hospitals, even a private railway line that carried fresh water from 75 miles away, and an ice-making plant that served residents in 113 degrees heat. But the diamond glory didn't last. After World War I, diamond prices collapsed. When richer mines were discovered in Ornjemund, about 170 miles to the south, Kolmanskop died almost overnight. Residents fled, leaving behind German mansions swallowed by waves of desert sand, staircases, windows, and even grand pianos slowly disappearing into the dunes. Strangely, even after more than 60 years of abandonment, many houses still stand. Wooden door frames remain straight, hinges still creak perfectly when pushed, as if the town is merely sleeping. At sunrise, golden light filters through sand-covered windows, painting pale blue walls with shifting tones of gold and shadow, a hauntingly beautiful symphony of dust and time. Today, only the brave, or the photographers, dare to visit Kolmanskop before dawn, when the entire city seems to breathe with the desert. They come not just to capture the ruins of past wealth, but to witness the ultimate truth, that human ambition can never outlast nature. Number 4. A solar power project in the heart of the desert. Amid the scorching Namib Desert, where hot winds scatter the sand and temperatures soar above 130 degrees, stands an energy oasis called Arandis Solar Village. It's Namibia's first self-sustaining desert power project and one of Africa's most pioneering models of renewable energy. Once, Arandis was a forgotten mining town after its uranium mines shut down. But instead of fading from the map, locals transformed it into a 100% solar-powered community. Thousands of photovoltaic panels now stretch across the sand, generating over 12,000 megawatt-hours of electricity per year, enough to power more than 10,000 households across the Orongo region. On the nearly year-round sunny days, the system even feeds excess power back into the national grid, helping Namibia cut about 9,000 tons of CO2 emissions annually. But electricity isn't the only innovation. Arandis also leads in converting fog into drinking water. A fog harvesting system designed by University of Namibia students can distill and desalinate up to 5,000 liters, 300 gallons of water a day, enough for the town's residents and nearby farms. Part of this water is even used to cool the solar panels, boosting their efficiency by over 17% compared to standard systems. Today, Arandis is considered a living laboratory for Africa's green energy revolution, drawing attention from the European Union, the International Energy Agency, and investors from Germany and Japan. Namibia now aims to export clean energy to South Africa and Botswana by 2030. And Arandis marks the first bold step toward that vision. Number 3. The Singing Forest of Namibia. If there's a place on Earth that can make you believe a desert knows how to sing, it's the Singing Forest of Namibia. In the middle of a sun-scorched land, where rain visits only a few times a year, hundreds of aloe trees stand tall, glowing like golden torches amid the endless sands. When the wind passes through their hollow trunks, it creates deep, resonant sounds like drums, turning the whole forest into a softly trembling, otherworldly symphony. These singing trees can grow up to 30 feet tall, live for over 300 years, and survive thanks to their sponge-like bark that stores water and hollow stems that regulate temperature. A perfect piece of biological engineering built to withstand the 1847 heat of the Namib Desert. The San and Nama tribes once regarded them as sacred gifts from the gods. Their trunks were used to store arrows, food, and water, cool on the inside, like a natural thermos. That's how the name quiver tree was born. Today, the quiver tree forest in Keetmanshoop is recognized as a national monument of Namibia, attracting thousands of visitors and photographers each year. At sunset, the golden trunks glow against a deep violet sky, a scene so surreal that many call it a fairy tale forest in the driest land on Earth. But this beauty is under threat. A study from Stellenbosch University revealed that over 30% of quiver trees have died due to climate change and prolonged drought. Scientists are now relocating seeds to higher, cooler areas, hoping to preserve the magical sound of this singing forest for future generations. Number 2. The ban on American chicken. In 2016, Namibia made headlines by banning all imports of chicken from the United States, becoming the first African country to take such a bold step. The official reason, according to the Ministry of Agriculture, was concern over chemical contamination and growth hormones found in U.S. poultry. Reports from the Namibian Poultry Board revealed that several shipments of frozen chicken from America contained chlorine and phosphate levels 3 to 5 times higher than local standards, raising serious public health concerns. But behind the ban was more than just food safety. It was geopolitics. When Namibia chose Brazil as its new poultry supplier, Washington viewed the decision as unfriendly, since the U.S. had been promoting the African Growth and Opportunity Act to expand trade with Africa. Namibia's response was firm and unapologetic. We don't need cheap chicken if it comes with chemicals. Interestingly, after Namibia's decision, several other African nations, including Zambia, Ghana, and Kenya, began reviewing their own U.S. food import agreements. a lesson that spread from the Namib Desert to the rest of Africa. Independence isn't just political, it's also about what's on your dinner plate. Number 1. The cold desert country. Few people realize that in the heart of fiery Africa lies a desert nation that's cold. That's Namibia, a country dominated by the vast Namib and Kalahari deserts, yet with a surprisingly mild climate. Though it may sound impossible, average temperatures here hover around 68-70 20 or 24, and in winter, especially along the coast, they can drop to 50 to. Locals often joke that they live in the coldest desert in Africa. The reason lies in the Benguela Current, a stream of icy water flowing northward from Antarctica along Namibia's Atlantic coast. This current cools the air above it, preventing the Namib Desert, the oldest desert on Earth, from burning like the Sahara or Gobi. Ironically, it also creates one of the planet's rarest phenomena, fog-covered deserts. This mist allows plants, insects, and even beetles to harvest water from the air to survive. Even during Namibia's hottest months, January and February, when temperatures can briefly reach 104.40 degrees, the rest of the year remains pleasantly cool, with over 300 sunny days annually, one of the highest sunshine rates in the world, rivaling Australia and Chile's Atacama Desert. And with that, our journey through 15 strange and forbidden things in Namibia comes to an end. Which of these facts amazed you the most? Or do you have a story about Namibia of your own? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know which country you'd like us to explore next. Who knows? Your suggestion might inspire our next travel documentary.